Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are here at the Bay Area Business Podcast, and I am here with Julie van de Wyngaerde.
That was good.
Got it right, finally. So, your business is called Julie Unplugged.
That's right.
So, Julie, tell me about how Julie unplugs, or what does unplug mean? What is it about?
Well, if you think about an album,
okay.
You know, when an artist, a musician does an album that's unplugged, it's really about getting down and personal with you, taking a lot of the loud music away and just getting personal and just talking one-on-one. I mean, that's what I see as unplugged. So Julie Unplugged, that's really what it's all about.
Okay.
And I mean, what I do is I help creative types, whether it's an artist, an author, a speaker, performer, a dancer, people that are right brain thinkers. I help them. Well, I help them to be able to step more into their spotlight. So Julie Unplugged is about me being in my own spotlight at the same time.
Okay, so say I'm a singer, right? I got a beautiful voice, but I don't know anything about how to be a great singer that makes money. Mm-hmm. Would I call you for that?
Well, what I do is, so oftentimes people have these creative talents, but they're afraid to really stand out in their spotlight. We all have fears and doubts that hold us back.
Yeah.
And so what I do is I work with the person and help them overcome what stops them, what keeps them playing small, so that they can step into the spotlight and really share their gifts and talents with the world.
Beautiful. So it's a mental game. You
Exactly.
give them a mental transformation.
Exactly.
I love it. Unplug, right?
Yeah.
Unplug. So tell us a story, Julie, a story about an aha moment that got you to where you are today.
Well, what got me to where I am today is I have a mentor that I've had for quite a few years.
I love that word, mentor.
Yeah. He's a coach and mentor, and I had been studying under him, and I knew that I was at a point where I was going to make a transformation in my own business. I didn't have this particular business. I was doing other types of coaching, and I was sitting at one of his live events in Utah, and he was talking about your secret thoughts. And he said, we all have secret thoughts. And I thought, and he goes, your secret thoughts are things that you don't tell people about, but you think about them all the time.
Yeah.
And I thought, what are my secret thoughts? And my secret thoughts, I'll share with you. So they're not going to be a secret anymore. But my secret thoughts had to do with me being in my spotlight and standing out. In front of people, being on stages, doing a lot of speaking, and encouraging others, like being an example for other people to be able to do the same thing. And that was really the turning point for me is once I identified what my secret thoughts were, because our secret thoughts are tied to our life purpose.
Yeah.
And so that was the key in helping me to move in the direction of Julie Unplugged and really putting it out there. So, that mentor was key for me.
Yeah. Okay. So mentors. Do you still use mentors, or do you have specific mentors for specific areas in your life?
Oh, absolutely.
Beautiful. I
like
it.
I think everybody needs to have mentors and coaches in their life. I mean, we all have blind spots that we don't, where we don't see where we're stuck or we're not seeing something that's holding us back.
Yeah.
So we need those people.
Blind spots. That's a good analogy. So tell me what the word failure means to Julie.
Failure is one of those words that I think so many of us hold such a negative connotation around. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't really believe in failure. I believe that what people define as failure is really just kind of a signpost that's saying, hey, you took the wrong turn, or hey, you're going the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So it's really not about failure. It's just about maybe think of a flashing yellow light, that's flashing at you going, okay, wait a minute. Yeah. Slow down, caution. So that's what failure means to me. It's like, okay, that didn't work, so let's course correct and get going in a different direction.
Yeah.
So I don't really believe in failure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. You don't believe in failure.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for business growth, and what does growth look like to you? Is it having employees, having a big, huge office building, or just having more clients or customers?
Yeah, well, for me, because most of my business is really virtual, I do most of my work is, marketing on the internet, and then working with people over the phone or over Skype. There are occasions where I do work one-on-one with people in person. So I like that. I like that about my business because I can work from anywhere in the world. I mean, I could decide to take a vacation somewhere and I could still work from that location.
Yeah.
So I don't want to have an actual office, but I do want to do more live events where I bring groups of people together, because I think as a collective, people can really grow and get a lot out of learning from other people.
Yeah, yeah.
So
so your virtual approach, do you have virtual assistants, or do you mainly, like, what are some of your key services or apps that you use to propel your business?
Well, I do work with virtual assistants. So we use things like there's a online system called Basecamp. And that's where you can upload documents. You can talk to each other through that so that it's not clogging up your email.
Yeah.
You can give assignments and you can assign tasks. So that's one of the tools I use.
Okay.
I use Time Trader, which is a system for scheduling appointments.
Time Trader, wow.
Yeah.
So that would help out with our scheduling, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Time Trader.
So that somebody can just go to my Time Trader. I can just give them the link, and then they can schedule the appointment based on what I have open.
Oh, wow. So they see your bookings and openings.
Yeah, then they see what's open for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll help out a lot of professional people.
Yeah. Oh,
definitely. Yeah. Scheduling, because it's always a back and forth. Like, hey, are you free this time? No. Are you free this time? No. Back and forth.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And and there's other things. I mean, obviously, I do use Skype.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some other similar platforms, Google Docs we use, just things like that, so that you can it doesn't matter where people are located, you can all access what you need.
Yeah. So you got it down. I like that. I respect that. So what's your personal development regimen like?
Oh, personal development. Well, I could go on and on about
like
that.
When you work on Julie in your inner game.
Yeah. The biggest things that I do for my inner game are, one is meditation.
Okay.
I try to do twice a day for 30 minutes, but sometimes I don't fit that in, and I just get in once a day. But I try to make sure I get in at least 30 minutes a day of meditation. Connected to that is prayer. So I also pray connected to my meditation, and those really help me. I mean, I get centered. I am able to get clarity.
Yeah.
I get answers. I just really put it out there through those two, practices, and whatever I need seems to come to me that way.
Yeah.
And then exercise is a huge part of my life. It has been for a long time. And that's another thing, whether I'm hiking, walking, at the gym, it's amazing the ideas that come to me. I literally feel like I get downloads from God during those times.
Yeah, during running. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice. So what's your definition of success?
My definition of success is really happiness, doing what you love, so that you feel like you really aren't working.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel that everybody should be doing what they love so they never have to work another day in their life.
Yeah.
And so to me, when you get to that point, that's really success. Being happy, fulfilled at what it is that you're doing on a daily basis.
Can you give us a story or example where you felt that way doing something that you're doing now?
Well, my business is definitely set up that way. I mean, for me, I'm all about having freedom of time. I'm a real right brain, creative, free spirit. So I don't like, to be confined to a location. I don't like even to be confined to definite work hours. Not that I don't have definite work hours, but I like to have flexibility.
Yeah.
So, I've been at this a long time, working in the coaching industry and the internet marketing industry. So I just, over time, I have just learned to kind of adapt and learn how to create my own success. So I kind of work when I want and have flexibility. Let's say I want to make a purchase, like right now I'm looking to get a new car.
Nice, yeah.
And so I look at, well, how much will the car cost? And then I create something in my business to be able to bring in the income.
I love it. Yeah,
to pay for that.
Yeah, you're not counting your pennies. You're figuring out a way to make money.
Right.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
You're not saving Starbucks money. You're making more money.
Right.
So how do you give back to your community?
How do I give back to my community? I think that the biggest times, like so many people, is during the holidays. Adopt a family, buying gifts for people, making food donations to places that provide meals. Those are the biggest ways. It's really interesting because I've kind of been in search of how I can go out and actually not just give money or give food. I want to be the one there serving the people. And so that's an area that I feel I would really like to grow and be able to do more of that. And I know that it's when it's not the holidays, really when they need people the most.
Yeah, that's true. So recommend one personal development book and one business book for our listeners, and tell them why.
Okay. So I feel that, personal and business, it's hard for me to separate the two because in my life, it's just my life. And they really flow into each other. So I'm going to say this is business. I'm going to call this a business book, but it's also a personal book, and that's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Think and Grow Rich,
so even though that it highly, focuses on business aspects, and I think the reason that I feel that that's a book everybody should read is because it's so focused on finding what is your purpose. I mean, the success of the people in that book that he interviewed, people like Henry Ford, they were successful because they were doing what they loved. And so I feel that, I'm really passionate about people doing what they love. It's a big part of my work. So I think that's a book everybody should read. And the other book that I highly recommend, it's called The Circle Maker.
The Circle Maker.
And The Circle Maker, I guess you could see that as being a bit more of a personal development book. That book is it's actually written by a Christian pastor, but it's just really all about whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your life or have in your life that you have the desire for. It's really about just praying to God around that, and asking for that, and how that all kind of works. It's a fabulous book. I'm not doing it justice, but I highly recommend it.
Yeah, nice. So let's go into your faith. How do you feel your faith has helped you get to where you're at today?
Well, it's really interesting because my faith has come full circle. I mean, I grew up in a home that, faith was a big part of my life. And when I left and went to college and, had my years away from my parents, I drifted from my faith. And as an adult, I've come back to it, and it's amazing the difference in my life when I rely on my faith. So I rely on my faith for really everything. And, just like I mentioned, I turn to my faith, to God, for my answers, whether it's for my business or my personal life. And I just, having faith is, believing that something exists even though you can't see it. And so trusting that if I ask for help or I ask for answers, that they'll come. And they may not come in the form exactly that you think, and they may not come at the time that you think, but I have faith that they will come. So it's a big part of my life.
Okay, nice. So who is one of your influences, and how have they influenced Julie?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I mentioned that I had a mentor coach. His name is David Nagel. And he's really, I really feel that he's changed my life in a lot of ways. I mean, I've studied either directly or indirectly under him for many years, and his teachings just resonated with me because they are very connected to faith in that the way he teaches. So it was through working with him, like I said, that I created Julie Unplugged. And I feel that had I not done the growth that I had done with him, working with his teachings, I would never have gotten to where I am today. But at the same time, I've had a lot of mentors over the years, and I feel like it's like I set the foundation when I first started on my personal growth path, and I just keep building upon that with each new mentor and growing from there. I mean, people like Zig Ziglar or Jim Rohn, I feel like those are my mentors and teachers. I mean, I read their stuff, and so there's so many, it's hard to just name one.
Nice. So how can we find more about you and what you do? Social networks, blogs, websites?
Well, I'm pretty much everywhere online.
Everywhere. Is it all under Julie Van de Wyngaerde?
So, the easiest place to find me right off the bat would be julieunplugged.com.
There you go.
That's my main website. Also on Facebook at Julie Van de Wyngaerde or Julie Unplugged on Facebook. You'd find me as Julie V Unplugged on Twitter. So,
So let's go into your social networks. Do they convert for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Is that how you find most of your customers or clients?
Yeah. Well, I would say that most of my clients come from me doing webinars. or
Webinars.
teleseminars,
So-
online, but I do the marketing for them on the social networks. And I'd say the biggest platform for me right now is Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Facebook business page.
Okay, so what do you do for the webinars? What service do you use? How do you advertise them? What's your follow-up process from those?
So right now I'm using GoToWebinar.
Okay.
Yeah, although I'm considering switching and using Webinar Jam.
Webinar Jam. I
Yeah,
haven't heard of that one.
which is a newer platform.
Okay.
And it's actually hooked to Google Hangouts.
Oh.
There's a connection there. So,
Beautiful, yeah.
but I've been using Webinar or GoToWebinar, and I use an autoresponder system at Aweber. So
Aweber.
that's how I do my email. I do use email marketing to my list. So I'm constantly building my list, and I send messages out to there. But if I'm going to do a webinar, I actually will run Facebook ads to drive traffic to the opt-in page for the webinar.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So you got it all systemized.
Yeah.
Why webinars?
The reason for webinars is because, a lot of people do teleseminars, which is where you're just hearing the voice.
Yeah.
But what I like about a webinar is that we're really visual people.
Yeah, you can see the mouth move with the
Yeah.
audio. Yeah.
Well, or like, let's say you just want to, some people don't like to be on camera.
Yeah.
So you can just do slides, but at least
Yeah.
you're giving people a visual, because the more senses that you can engage, the more people are able to learn.
Oh, okay.
So they're not only hearing you, but they're seeing maybe bullet points or whatever that you're saying, or you can put, bring yourself into their live on the screen too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, which I think is really important. One of the aspects of my business that I love is shooting video. And as you know, videos become so common or important or big on the internet because it gives people a visual and a way to get to know you before they actually are able to meet you in person.
Definitely. Good. I'm glad you're not scared of video.
No, I love video.
Hence the camera, right? All right. Any last words or comments or quotes that you want to share with our listeners before I ask the last question?
Quotes. Well, I just want to share my motto that I live by, and that is, if it's not fun, I don't want to do it.
Okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Honestly.
Why do something if it's not fun?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel that the more people can incorporate fun into their life and into their business, there's so many people out there that are miserable in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm so passionate about my business, is helping people find what it is that they love,
Yeah.
find what they would just really light them up, that they're passionate about and that they would have fun doing, and do that. And then that's where the faith comes in, and have the faith that you will make the money that you need to make. Obviously, there's the whole business process of setting it up. But that's kind of how I live my life.
And then, could you give a tip to maybe a young listener who wants to be a coach and be in your position when they get your age? Any tips for them?
So, tell me, if they wanted to be a coach?
Yes.
Well, one of the tips, I always, you can be a coach on any topic. You pick a topic you want to coach on, you can be a coach on it. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
And I always encourage people that want to be a coach to actually get certified as a coach through one of the coaching programs, because I feel that gives you a lot of tools that you don't just naturally have.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing about coaching is that you coach on something that you've overcome in your life that you can really help other people overcome in theirs.
Yeah.
That's really the key. That's the key. It's like we're given all these life challenges, and they're really challenges so that we can learn and grow from them. So if you take the knowledge that you gathered from overcoming a challenge in your own life and help other people overcome the same challenge, I feel you'll be successful.
Nice. That's good. That's some good takeaways there. So if you had a friend come into town and they were starving, where would you take them to get a bite to eat that best represents the Bay Area?
Well, if it was representing the whole Bay Area, I'd have to take them to Fisherman's Wharf and have a bowl of clam chowder and a bread bowl.
A bread bowl, right?
You gotta have that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You
eat the bread after.
Yeah. That's...
Fisherman's Wharf.
That reminds me of... I know that people see that as such a touristy spot, but I love... I'm a California native. I love Fisherman's Wharf.
Nice. Well, Julie, I just wanted to say thanks for taking the interview of the podcast. You shared a lot of great tidbits and some ways for people to propel themselves and their business in the same light. If you guys want to know more about Julie, go to julieunplugged.com. You'll see all her fun stuff there. You'll see her on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. all the other social networks. And Julie, just want to say thanks, and I'll see you at the top.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right.